there's something about the mountains here in Western North Carolina that, since we are more rural than, say, the rest of North Carolina, and we're geographically isolated, there's been a long tradition in Western North Carolina of resiliency and self sufficiency. Hello, and welcome to the Brothers and Sisters Like These podcast. I'm your host, Brother E. Today, our guest is Jeremy Brooks, Fire and Life Safety Educator at the Asheville Fire Department. Mr. Brooks, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. We're very excited to be able to share with our community this exciting program that you started. And so we were made aware of this program that you guys are offering to the community. It's called CERT, C-E-R-T. So why don't you take it from there and describe a little bit about it?
So CERT is not a new program. It started in the 80s out of California with earthquakes and all the things that they have going on out there. And so we were in the works of bringing it to Asheville way before Helene, but Helene kind of steadied our pace and kind of put it in overdrive, to say the least. We really think this program will benefit Asheville because of all the unique weather patterns we've been getting lately. Stronger winds, higher heat, which create more chances for the flash flooding and things like that. So what CERT does is readies the community for events like those. And so we're more, in times like that, we'll be more resilient, better prepared, kind of have a framework to know what to do and who we can resource for help. So training our community members makes our department better. It will reduce probably some response times. It will reduce call buildup in all those times, and it just it's good to have an informed and empowered community. That way we don't always overload the system of 911 for first responders, and the truer emergencies will get responded to in a faster, more efficient way.
So this CERT, which is Community Emergency Response Team program that you guys have standing up, how did you fall into this? What's your, describe a little bit your role in the Asheville Fire Department and how you came into this.
So as the Fire and Life Safety Educator for the department, it's my responsibility and job to look at all the risk that not only our firefighters face, but our community faces, and develop programs to help mitigate those. So this is a nationwide program. North Carolina also supports it as a state through their EM department and does trainings to local departments and agencies that wish to receive it. We decided a few years ago that this was something we wanted to do and was getting in line to receive all this training, because we've got to front load a lot of instructors to get those trained to be able to produce it and get the finished product. So in developing all that, we had this huge storm, Helene, come through, and we're like, what? We could have used so many resources from a CERT program. So we started looking around at other cities that had really faced kind of the same kind of natural disasters that we do. And Nashville, Tennessee really fit the bill. So I started working with some of their folks that do the same thing I do in community risk reduction there. And we definitely put together a plan for Asheville that is not only sustainable for the long term, because it don't take much to run it. It just takes people and a little bit of donations and things like that. So University of Utah has a program that allows people to be self-paced. And with my experience training and doing citizens academies, summer camps, and things like that in the Asheville Buncombe community, I think that our population really likes to be able to have their options and not pinned down, because, I mean, when the sun's shining outdoors in Asheville, there's no place on earth better to be, right?
That's right.
And we don't want to be in a classroom for 8 hours and multiple days. So we can do this training at our own pace. It's nothing it's a huge emergency to get. Right now we have a little over 70 citizens signed up, ready to take the class, and some are already, we've got a handful that have already finished their training. So as soon as we get about 10 members ready, we're going to do a class, and then that way that will be the base model we can go through, and then maybe they can prolong if they find an instructor class or something like that. Maybe they can help instruct too. But when we first offered these instructor classes, we have multiple departments across the city. And I think Buncombe County, I know, did a CERT training too. So there's multiple fire departments that will probably be starting to offer this as well. But I think we had members from NOAA that attend our training. And it's just a way, if you're a concerned citizen who wants to be self-reliant and self-resilient, this is a great starter program to help you build your self-worth up in the community to where you can actually be a leader. We want you to start at your house on your property. And then once you're recovered in that way, and you've got all your needs met, you can branch out onto your local community. And then when y'all see that, and we have a ton of those in Asheville. I think there's 7 right now that meet regularly. There's hundreds of HOAs and stuff like that, but as far as communities meeting, we go to those too, and we've offered it to them and their residents. But once you get your community together and you feel like what your community needs is met, then you could branch out and go to the broader, your west side, your north side, your south side, east, and then, branch out until we've got it in a better place. I mean, your area might not have got affected at all. It might have just been along the river or the creeks. And so we're give you the tools and the know-how to help and not hinder an operation, but there to help, whether it's just to block a road or to remove limbs and tree branches and stuff like that out of roadways to help first responders get there quicker. That's the thing that we are trying to do for the community of Asheville.
And so I think you described a little bit, but just want to make sure your vision for where the program is now and where it will potentially lead up is something about, as more communities become involved, there can just be more cooperation and then even more chances for members to cover larger areas and coordinate amongst themselves. And is that kind of where you want to, we're starting right now with not even the first class up and running yet, but end state would be what, your optimum vision for this program, that, realistic vision.
So the overall goal is to have a group of people who are trained and willing and able to be the ones that step up in their community and can take the leadership role and help each other be a more safe, resilient, and just overall cohesive group of people that come together to do good in our community for not only first responders, but for the other citizens who may, don't have those resources. And we want to make sure that the training is available, and then we continue training, and that we keep this group ready and able to respond anytime we need it, because we never know. It could be snow, ice, rain, floods, fire. We have the Hall Creek community has received a part of a grant from the city for a Firewise program. Well, a lot of that includes removing brush and stuff like that. So if we can tag those into CERT, I mean, that's one concept of CERT is to, just kind of pick up and make your area safer. We can plug all these pieces into the puzzle and have a really good picture painted for the future of Asheville.
And so this interesting point that many civilians can't necessarily appreciate, certainly military can, is that when you're looking at your area of operations, as we'd say in the military, certain areas require different priorities and resources. So, we'll have, parts that get flooded regularly. I'm sure will be on your radar to have adequate, more specific training in certain fields versus others. So there are some realities that you guys, I'm sure you guys are taking into account, right?
Correct. Yes, and we have local hazard maps and plans and mitigation plans and all that that we can use to help guide us and guide the members of those communities in those areas. And the first areas to evacuate. We need to know, like with what's left. You know what I mean? A lot of it's
Absolutely,
just
yeah.
going to go to Greenway and whatever the county and the city decide to do with those areas. But a lot of it people will rebuild, and we just got to make sure they rebuild right. And then when they do rebuild, that we know, like it, the, just because we've rebuilt, we've made our one little area safer. The broader area can still have its own natural
That's right.
disasters,
Yeah.
we can have the best laid out plans, but you need to have a contingency plan and a backup plan and all those things in mind. And this is just one of those tools in the toolbox the city has now. It's just like we call our fire trucks our toolboxes. We put everything we can on them, and we may not ever use it, but it's there if we need it. And so this is a program that's there, and I hope we never need it again. That's my goal, is to train everybody, and you have a bunch of little cold springs laying around ready to spring into action, but then we just do a lot of training. We're just good, brothers and sisters to each other.
Right, and that's the spirit. I think that even if never used, I'm
Right.
sure the engagement between community and city and the fire department only enhances, the collaboration, the bond, that we have. We get to know each other better. I just think it makes us more resilient and better, even if it's never needed. So, just as a way to connect with the public, it's not extremely expensive to do this. So, I think it's just a great idea in of itself.
100%. And we never know who's living and moving in and out of our community. So we got to keep the training going.
That's right.
But you could have experts beyond our
Yeah.
expertise in your community and this is the way they can plug in.
That's a
When
great point.
communications went down, I'm sure we have plenty of ham radio
Yeah.
operators and
Yeah.
things of that nature that would be able to get messages in and out and things
That's
like
a great
that
point. Yeah.
if ever
Well,
so needed.
as airborne infantry in my military life, I have a nice cul-de-sac, and I already had my landing zone kit ready,
There you
and
go.
kind of made it fun. One of the kids in my neighborhood's uncle is a active duty Chinook pilot, and
There you go.
so I made it a little kit for him to kind of, like use crayons or markers to chalk markers. And so just creative. Now, I probably won't, I imagine we won't be setting
Yeah.
up LZs, but the spirit
Right.
is that, you just, there's some resources that we might not be aware of until we actually get into it. So great idea and great vision. So tell me some of the partners that were necessary to help get this CERT program up and running.
I pulled on a lot of different fire departments from the southeast and local here in the state, and got feedback from them. So my local support group of the people I usually do, and then I stepped out to other programs that look and kind of have the same demographics as we do. And Nashville is a way bigger city, but they have what splits their city, a river, right?
Right. Yeah.
So like it looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we definitely local partners. Lowe's has been awesome to
Okay.
donate a lot of the equipment,
Oh, wow.
and we've had Home Depot, especially when we've been talking about the 72-hour preparedness kits.
Oh, wow.
To for the 72-hour kits, we've had a lot of people donate, and both Lowe's and Home Depot both have donated totes that
Oh,
we've used,
awesome.
supplies of that nature.
Wow.
And Parks and Rec has stepped up and let us use their facilities for some training.
Oh,
City of Asheville, I mean, they've pretty much handed me and my supervisors like, hey, we need this. How's the best way for us to do it? And so I always look. The first thing I can do is to see how much it's going to cost, because that's the big factor of how big we can make the program, right? So if I know my costs are minimal and I can get donations or anything like that to help with the other supplies, that's what my job is kind of to do, is to keep it at a reasonable cost, be good stewards of the resources that we have, and just making an overall good program for the city, for the citizens of the city who pay their tax money, and for our firefighters and everything. Not to, like, we don't want to make it so saturated with training that we're spending all of our time training on CERT, and we can't keep up with nothing else. We want
That's
CERT to
right.
be a thing that's easy to roll into our programs and just keep producing when needed.
Right.
And so, yeah,
So it's very
that's the
interesting.
main.
Well, it's very interesting because you're bringing up to light how much of the planning, the logistics, monetary considerations go into planning something like this. It might seem somewhat easy on the surface, but everything is certified. It's credentialed, so there are a lot of parameters that have to be met to keep these programs, because this is a nationwide level thing. So. Um, it,
It's keeping fruit of the CERT program that FEMA and University of Utah designed. We're using that. It's 18 and a half hours of PowerPoints and somebody reading a PowerPoint to you. It's not the funnest program out there to do, but you learn a lot of great resources. And it's the same training that we had to set through to be able to teach it. So it's not like we understand your frustrations a lot of times when you hit an industrial PowerPoint presentation and it's out there for the world to see, and then you're like,
Mm.
ugh. But it's the way to do it,
Hey,
because
in the
you've
military,
either, yeah, you've either got to just suck it up and do it, or you can, I mean,
yeah, yeah. Well, that's part of. I mean, there's certain. This isn't just for fun and games. This is
right,
to be a force multiplier in your community, and
correct.
all of us. There's something about the mountains here in Western North Carolina that, since we are more rural than, say, the rest of North Carolina, and we're geographically isolated, there's been a long tradition in Western North Carolina of resiliency and self-sufficiency. And I think for people who have moved in here recently, or who are not as accustomed to that because of, like, say, the comforts of city life, or things like that, I think Helene really sparked that back in us, and was a big wake up call that not only were we better prepared to handle an event like Helene, but that the importance of that not just being a mentality, but that just for the mentality's sake, that
Yeah,
it actually really is important for us from a physical safety standpoint to keep our resiliency up to speed. And with when you look at a community and you're looking at helping a community during a disaster, there are a lot of more important training and aspects of it that go than, say, to individual homesteading, and that's what you guys are bringing in. So let's go from here and let's look at some of these modules. So there are 9 unit modules that the program is made up of on the online part, so the first part that you do, and it's
hmm,
disaster preparedness,
yep,
CERT organization,
hmm,
disaster medical operations part 1 and 2, disaster psychology, fire safety and utility control, light search and rescue, terrorism and CERT, and then you have your final exam. And then there's an optional triage unit. Is that something that is done as well?
we'll probably do that on the back end. And
Okay.
I know, like, triage, we're going to work hands on with, because it's, we're developing muscle memory, not only with the what we're memorizing out of these points, but when we have to care for one of our own before first responders get there, if we're in our neighborhood and we're caring for somebody who may have been outside and a tree branch fell or something, we need to know what's safe and what's not safe, number one. And then, so we need to know if it's okay for them to be moved, or if we need to leave them right here and get everybody in, and make way for them, first responders, to get in. And so that's we really want to be hands on with that, to where you see and feel and touch. I know I learn best from that way. A lot of
Sure.
people's learning styles are different, so some
Yeah.
people can just read it and know it, but then doing it is a different thing. So we're actually going to incorporate Stop the Bleed into
Okay.
this too, and that's a program that's not only designed for disasters and mass shootings and all these things, but it's you're more likely to injure yourself with a chainsaw, or removing something that you don't do every day. If you're just a homeowner, you're not out here cutting trees up every day, and so you can make mistakes, right? And so we want to be able to, if something was happening, we can control that and help ourselves too. and help a neighbor as well. We want to make you more resilient and be able to help yourself. Stop the Bleed is a great program that trains people on how to apply and use tourniquets, and kind of takes the fear and all the different beliefs that they're not good away from. Military's figured them out and over the years, and they can leave them on for hours and hours and hours, and sometimes a day or two before they take them off, and then they'll deal with the after effects. But it's better than losing your life just to
Yep.
bleeding from an extremity.
Yep. So let me see if this is a good way to characterize kind of the idea of CERT in general. Taking it from a military perspective, usually that we have to kind of ensure that we do the best on the front end to take care of ourselves. So in this case, being able to sustain ourselves for 72 hours. And then we can, the better and prepared we are and the safer we are, the faster we can recover and start helping others in our community. So there's a bit of like planning on the front end our own resiliency so that then we can be empowered to help others, because you can't have it both ways if you don't prepare yourself first. So I'm sure there's that aspect too, right?
Yeah. And so in building a more resilient community, we've got to look at all the things that we can do. And CERT really is it's a super building block to, one of the foundation stones in my point of a good resilient community is to have a CERT team. And trying to figure out how to do it in Asheville is different because we've got a lot of ways people can get cut off with traveling. If the interstates are blocked, if a bridge wash out, if all that thing. So we need these citizens in all the different little finger communities of Asheville to really step up and get trained, and that way each little valley or a segment of Asheville will be resilient in its own way, and your risks are going to be different in the north end than they are on the south end. So, we had the National Guard handing out water for a month or so. We could tag in CERT team members and have a local aspect of it too. And a lot of those National Guard men and women were straight from our community right here. Yep. And I got to talk to a bunch of them, and they were just happy to be working and doing what they do for us on a normal day basis, but they were getting to work in their community. And it's not a usual thing for them.
Alrighty. So once the citizen does the online and then the hands-on portion, which is one day, will they be part of, say, like a team, or what's the rollout after?
Yeah, it depends on how involved that citizen wants to be. We're going to have some people that are going to be super involved and want to show up to everything. But we know at the Asheville Fire Department, because we have 300 firefighters, and everybody has a life, and so we want you to be able to plug in where you can. And so this is not a super strict regimen of training. If you can't miss or you can't be at one training but you can attend the next, just let us know. But if you want to be on the list of people who want to be called on a team or called if something happens and come support whatever operation we're doing at that point, whether it's handing out water, holding a road barricade up, or just we're going to be able to do light searches and stuff eventually as well if we have an amber alert or a silver alert of an aging citizen that's
that's great missing. Yeah,
things like that. So the more eyes we have on the ground in those aspects, we can do better things. And we have a lot of mountainous trails and wooded areas that we can use that type of help. We have to adapt at Asheville Fire Department to start using that kind of help. So it's going to be an adaptation for our chiefs and battalion chiefs and everything to be able to call on us as CERT team members to step in and help. And it's going to take a longer period of time. So if we see we can do this in a short time, we're not going to call every CERT team member out for that. You know what I mean? So it's going to be operation specific of what we need and how long the duration is before that list will get called up. So we definitely are trying to manage this at a very small level and let it grow and see what it becomes. And if it gets, super big, then we're going to have a great group of people who eventually may be able to just help out with planned events in the city. They may want to show
Right.
up and use their training that way. And that
Yeah.
may be able to help some of the other nonprofit groups and everything from paying, for those kind of services.
Yeah, that's a
So
great point. You just don't know how it's going to go, and it's kind of incumbent upon us. But as Asheville Fire Department and the city has seen, and stated publicly that the public was very engaged with community recovery, and so
yes,
I'm very confident, which is also why I wanted to have you as our guest, is to promote this, because I think a lot of people do want to help and they might not be aware of it. So I'm so happy that I've been given this opportunity to talk to you and share it. So, how are other ways that people could help or participate or possibly donate to CERT?
CERT right now is just kind of in its little infancy stage, and like you were saying earlier, so if you want to help right now, sign up, get trained.
Okay.
Be your own first responder if you can be, for the things that you feel necessary and that you can do. That this is kind of what it is, and then spread the word. Tell people about it. If you don't want to do it, you can still tell somebody who might you think might, hey, this might fit what they're doing or they like doing.
Yeah.
And then that's the best thing to do. And then we hope you feel empowered after that to, if you do the training, to then spread the word as well, and invite more people. Because the more people we have doing this, the stronger our community becomes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we can't go out and repair water lines and things like that to make that never happen again. And that's always going to be a risk. I'm sure there's engineers working on fixes for that right now. So,
But what we're going
and
to
I'll put my,
do what we can at our level to
yes,
maximize, and this is
yes,
a real thing that can be done and can have positive, tangible
for sure.
effects.
For sure, for sure. Look at when you are building or renovating around your home. What can I do to make my home safer?
Yeah.
Can I does my house have smoke alarms? Number one, 'cause that's the number one risk in a house. We have programs to where we'll install smoke alarms in your house. So we could tag CERT team into that and do a smoke alarm canvas,
Oh,
things like that. So we've got different things we do with our firefighters that we can keep them on fire trucks and keep them in service and doing what they do, and use these members
that's
kind
a
of as
great
a
point.
volunteer group to help us perform our daily duties in our community risk reduction office, um, that we can definitely still use boots on the ground for.
So, as your position as the fire and life safety educator, are there any other events or training or anything that you'd like the public to know about?
Coming up, we're doing the Citizens Fire Academy.
Hmm.
And it's 4 weeks. We've condensed it down from a 12-week program to a 4-week
Oh,
program
wow.
to help grow participation, because it got to where we were only, 5 to 7 people a time.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we want to inform the community as much as we can on what we do and how good we do it. We're one of the best fire departments in the country, and I want to, put that feather in our hat every time we can. But we're very proactive in everything we do. We've went away from being a reactive department a lot of times, and now we're very proactive.
Well, this
And
program certainly shows that trend or that affinity towards being proactive. I think that's
yeah,
very clear. Well, Brooks, how can listeners get in touch with you?
if my email is always open. J Brooks, just the letter J, Brooks BROOKS at AshevilleNC.gov. Shoot me an email anytime. I'll try to respond as quick as I can. I'm not a hard person to track down through email. I do respond as quickly as I can. Um, and I want to think that the city council has actually used this as a priority too. So Mayor Manheimer and all the council members really wanted this program in Asheville, supported us developing it and growing it, and I'm excited to see where it goes in Asheville. I think we have a plethora of knowledge and community community driven and energetic people who I think can really make this program one of the top programs in the country if we want it to be.
I think you're right, and exciting, because I know post Helene, a lot of neighborhoods, including our own and probably the vast majority, kind of said, "Hey, let's get a plan. Like, what neighbors have chainsaws? What neighbors have water pumps? Who has some training in this and who has some training in that? And how can we have these, teams?" And we divided everything. One person had a pickup, so we gave all the trash, and they did runs to where the garbage was being picked up at.
Right.
And another person with another truck went to get water. So, it all kind of worked out. But this really solidifies it at a, Western North Carolina, or at least Asheville metropolitan area. And I think this is great. So how can brothers and sisters like these help you with this mission of CERT and community preparedness?
Get trained, get certified, and then spread the word in your community. Come to all of our trainings, and we'll supply you with what we can. I'm working on hard hats, safety vests, gloves, and safety glasses right now. That's the key components of a CERT
Okay.
team. Things we use to where we don't get cut or bruised or scraped,
That's right.
and get things in our eyes, or
Yep.
protecting everything.
Yep.
See if I can find some dust masks and stuff too. But if you have training in specific areas, go ahead and use it.
Perfect. Perfect. So this program is the community. If they don't catch this round of it, it'll be offered in the future, but there's still time as of
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
it's going to be offered yearly. You can do your training, and then quarterly for the ones that do get trained. We're going to have classes and different topics, and just to keep our skills sharpened, And then we're in between those quarterly trainings. We're going to be training the new members and plugging them into. And I've got people in that are elderly. That's like, I can't be on a team, but I want to know this and know what I need to do for my
Sure.
house. And if that's the least we can do, then we're having prepared communities anyway.
Yep.
And so a lot of people may be scared to use an extinguisher and things like that. That's one of the trainings we're going to do is fire safety. So what do we do when we don't have power and things like that? If I have gas in my house and I know that there's a tree down and it could be damaged the gas line, where's that utility cut off? What does it look like?
Yeah.
Things like that.
That's great.
Where is my water cut off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some very basic things, but it gets the conversation started, gets the word out in the neighborhoods and the streets that, hey, there's a way, a low stress way to find out. And then, like you were saying, you can help as you are able to with time, and also as much as you're willing to put in, personally, that you don't feel comfortable certain past a certain point, so you don't have to get locked into, well, I'm not a first responder, I can't do that type of stuff, right? This is
Right.
just anything that you learn is a plus, and so don't be fearful of that. And this is a great opportunity for those people that don't think that they could ever be helpful for the city or the community at large to help during a disaster. This is a way that you can. So this is a great opportunity. So Mr. Brooks, thank you so much for your time and effort with this program and for coming on here. I really look forward to what this program can do for us. God forbid we ever need it again. And even if we don't, it will be a great way for the community and the fire department and the city to come closer, which will pay dividends if ever need be. And our time has come to an end. And as always, to our guests, the last word.
Well, I want to thank Chief Case for allowing us to develop this. City Council and Mayor Manheimer for giving him the authority to do that as well. But I also want to thank our firefighters, because they're going to be ones that are helping with this training. And they are the bulk. They're the ones you see on the road all the time. They're the ones, doing the great job that they do every day to make Asheville safe and be one of the safest communities to live in North Carolina. So we're trying to build one resilient community, but we got to do it one, citizen at a time. And it's going to take us a while, so be patient. And any questions, comments, concerns, shoot them to me. I'll address it. And we're we're super proud to be able to offer this program. It's been a long time coming, and can't wait to see what Asheville. Asheville's always been known to stand up and stand out. So let's make it happen.
No, yeah, exactly. All righty. Well, to our listeners, thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you.